In this edition of the Parliament Report, bill introduced to amend the NHT Act, Parliamentary Committee in no-nonsense mood, and the government owes lawyers millions. Finance Minister Dr. Peter Phillips made good on his promise to take legislation to Parliament to amend the National Housing Trust, the NHT Act. The Finance Minister tabled the bill in Gordon House on February 26, which will effectively enable the institution to provide financing support for fiscal consolidation over a 4-year period. This latest move by Phillips comes against the backdrop of a lawsuit from an NHT contributor who raised objection to the government's plans to pull $45 billion from the trust. Phillips brought the bill to the House on behalf of Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller, who has portfolio responsibility for the NHT. The Finance Minister gave notice of first reading, which is the process of introducing the proposed law to members of Parliament. The $45 billion to be deducted from the trust over 4 years represents part of the government's thrust to bring its fiscal house in order. It is also a prerequisite for the government to ink a deal with the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. The bill's Memorandum of Objects and Reasons says the government will be obliged to meet certain fiscal targets, including raising primary surplus to 7.5% annually starting this financial year and ending 2017. A parliamentary oversight committee was in a no-nonsense mood on February 26 when it demanded answers from the Justice Ministry about how it planned to dramatically reduce the massive backlog of cases in the courts. At present, the justice system is creaking under the weight of 400,000 backlog of cases. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Justice, Carol Palmer, who appeared before the committee, said that she could not provide details about the reduction of the backlog as she would have to be advised by the courts. This explanation did not find favor with members of the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee. Committee Chairman Edmund Bartlett told the Permanent Secretary that it was her responsibility to have that information available for the committee. Using the maxim, justice delayed is justice denied, Bartlett argued that Jamaicans could not feel that they were being treated fairly if they did not even have a hearing in the courts. He instructed the Permanent Secretary to prepare a full report on the backlog of cases for a meeting to be held during the new parliamentary year. And finally, in the Parliament Report, the government owes about 200 attorneys at law more than $20 million for providing legal aid, and there are indications that the sum could increase. Executive Director of the Legal Aid Department, Hugh Faulkner, says the government owed legal aid lawyers $23 million as of November 2012. Faulkner told members of the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee on February 26 that the arrears could increase with an influx of attorneys enrolling to provide legal aid services. He said the fee structure under the legal aid system had not been adjusted since 1999. According to the Executive Director, the Ministry of Justice was reviewing the sum paid to attorneys who provide legal aid services. At least 410 attorneys have enrolled to take legal aid cases. Of this number, 50% concentrates on civil matters. This has been another edition of the Parliament Report. Join us next time when we provide highlights of parliamentary activities. Until then, I'm Edmund Campbell saying, walk good.